12:30, and I'm very excited to welcome our guest this week, Kimberly Kane. She probably looks familiar to you because she used to work here at TMJ4. Was an award-winning reporter and anchor, and now she has transitioned into her own company. She is
Mhm.
CEO and president of Kane Communications. Kimberly, what a delight to have you this afternoon.
Carole, it's so great to see you. You look gorgeous as always. You have not changed a bit since our days together in the newsroom.
Well, you have not changed. If,
Mm.
if anything, you've gone. You're like fine wine. You just get better looking every time. But see, those of you who are just joining us, I have known Kimberly Kane for many years, and we used to spend time in the ladies' room getting ourselves ready for the show,
Yes, we were
talking
babies.
all of the travails and wonderful things about life, and the challenges. And one of the
Yeah.
things, Kimberly, that has always impressed me about you is not only are you smart and talented, but you're organized and you really know how to get things done. When you were here at the station, you were pregnant, I think, most of the time that
I was. I know.
you have four children.
I have 4 children now. Yes.
I
Who
can't
says we
believe.
can't have it all, right?
Well, you were able to just flawlessly manage so many things. And that's one of the things that I really wanted to talk to you about, because there are so many people who are having trouble with, especially when they have to multitask. And you, with a family, a job, a challenging job, and now you're running your own business. Any secrets to anybody who might be out there thinking about doing what you're doing and becoming an entrepreneur?
Boy, that's a great question. I think having a great work ethic is important. I think being just wired to go, wired to get things done is really important. Set those goals high. But I think combine that with eternal optimism. I think that there's so much happening in the world around us now and maybe always, that is stressful and depressing. And I think, you can take a look at some of that negativity and let it consume you. But I've chosen to do the opposite always, and look at life as a glass 90% full. So setting those goals high and being eternally optimistic, and then surround yourself with great people, Carole. I don't think there's anybody who is successful on their own. But when you fill your life with good people who are supportive and candid, they help you succeed, and they also hold you accountable. And that's important.
And I think that's very important, because a lot of people forget that you have to be with the kind of people that can help push you up and not
Exactly.
put you down, and
Right.
lift you up, I should say. And Kimberly, your business, I mean, you're doing great. You were just named last year, Inc. magazine named you on the 5,000 list, which is one
Right.
of
Inc.
the growing
5000.
businesses all over the country.
Right.
How exciting is that?
It's surreal. So I'm joining you from my little basement office here at my basement in Racine. And when I started Kane it was 2013. My kids were in elementary school and middle school. I was getting my master's degree. And I have this work ethic that doesn't quit, but I also have 4 children in my life.
Mhm. And
So
you're a
kind
good
of
mother, I
finding
might add. I've seen you in action.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, got to get it done. But I think creating that kind of environment where you can be successful is so important. And carving out this space here in my basement just so that I could be with my kids. I mean, literally, their desks were all around me here in my basement while I was getting Kane Communications Group off the ground and also getting my master's degree at the same time. And I think just focusing on what you can do, setting, those goals and having big dreams is what, has made that possible to achieve that Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing privately held companies.
Well, congratulations. And, for people who might not know what your company entails, can you just describe what you do? I know you're a marketing and advertising firm in a way.
Sure. Yeah, so we describe ourselves as a purpose-driven public relations, branding, and marketing agency. And what I mean by that is, purpose-driven companies focus not just on achieving a profit and delivering a product or a service, but purpose-driven companies also focus on doing good in the world. And I think today we have seen how important it is for companies to focus on being great corporate citizens, doing great things for their employees, doing great things in the environment. So we work with our clients every day to understand what are the problems they need to solve, what does success look like, and how can we develop really informed strategies to help them be successful Well, also being great corporate citizens. And, companies, we have found, really they drink that up. They know today that if they want to be employers of choice, they have to be focused on being good corporate citizens. And if they want to be companies of choice, where investors are investing in them, where consumers are choosing to buy from them, they know they have to focus on more than just the traditional business metrics, but they have to also demonstrate that they're good corporate citizens. So we get to work with companies at every kind of stage in that journey of being a good corporate citizen to help them understand what that means for their organizations and how to put together those great plans to show that they're doing good in the world, as well as doing good as companies.
This is so important because we're in a global world now, and it's smaller and it's shrinking every day.
Yeah.
Kimberly, one of the things that I know that you do is you advocate on behalf of women, and you have been a mentor to many ladies who want to do what you do. What do you see as some of the challenges facing women entrepreneurs, especially those who want to own their own companies? What any
Sure.
advice and challenges that you can share with us, Kimberly?
I think sometimes women have a hard time taking risk. I think sometimes we also have a hard time giving ourselves permission to step out of our comfort zone and just do it, just go for it. So I think, as women, we need to get really comfortable with, what kind of risk we can tolerate. Not everyone can be an entrepreneur. I mean, I'll tell you, it's a lot of work. You're stepping into uncharted territory at all time. But it's great for us, I think, to be able to push the boundaries of what we're capable of and to discover newer kind of levels of tolerance for risk. And if you're going to be an entrepreneur, that's something that you have to be very, very comfortable with. I think it's also important. I'll go back to that word permission, Carole, because I think if you think historically as women, think about the role that the word permission has played in our lives.
Mm.
All too often, we as women, I think, have sought permission from others in order to do things we want to do. And I think we need to give ourselves that permission to step out of the comfort zone, to push the envelope, to pursue our dreams. We have to give ourselves that permission before asking other people for that permission. So if you want to become an entrepreneur, challenge your tolerance for risk and give yourself permission to go for it.
I love what you're saying. We also often hear a lot of ladies or women or females or young girls apologize constantly.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's something, and I'm guilty of it as well. And we have to stop that. We have to go in our own zone and realize what we have, what potential we do have. Now, in case you're just joining us, this is Lunch with Carole. Every week I talk with someone that's inspirational, motivational, doing good at the community. And this week we have Kimberly Kane, former TMJ4 anchor here at the station, but she's also president and CEO of her own business, Kane Communications, and she does a lot of great things in our community. So I want to, and if you'd like have a question for Kimberly, you feel free to join us on a chat line. We'd be happy to answer. I'm sure Kimberly will be happy to answer any questions you might have. Now, Kimberly, I have to ask you a question about your recent research you did. You
sure.
found out about Wisconsin women. Half of Wisconsin women, was it?
50%.
50.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, they interested in leaving their jobs.
Quitting their jobs.
I
Yeah.
mean, unbelievable. What do you
Right.
think is behind this?
Well, the pandemic has redefined the relationship that all American employees have with their employer on so many different levels. Whether you're a frontline worker and you have to go into work, you might be working in healthcare or education or at the gas station. Our frontline workers have been put on the front line of a lot of risk. And, it's vital for their employers to be demonstrating compassion and care and concern. And that hasn't always happened. And then at every level, including in corporate America, you have seen nuances or variations in terms of how employees, how women have felt, um, under the increased pressure of perhaps working from home full time, being a full time mom with our kids here, becoming teachers for the first time, or caring for ailing families. And so, so many worlds came colliding, into one during the pandemic. And it did redefine our relationship with our employers. And as we're beginning to pull out of the pandemic, and put that in quotes because we know the numbers are still very high. We're just not so much on lockdown as we were in the past. But as we're beginning to kind of pull out of the pandemic and we're recognizing how important work is, employees, especially women, are looking at that relationship they have with their employer and they're saying, I need a little more. I've been really working very hard for you, but I need you to also recognize how much is on my shoulders in addition to that. And unfortunately, many employees, especially women, have not felt that kind of compassion or empathy from their employers. So we have seen over the past 8 or 9 months or so this trend that's being called the Great Resignation, where employees have said, I'm done. I just can't continue to work in an environment where I'm not recognized, I'm not valued. So I'm either choosing to leave work entirely, or I'm finding other employers that I want to work for. So we saw this national trend, Carole, probably beginning about 9 months ago or so. And as we were starting to work with our clients to help them develop strategies, excuse me, my little cold, strategies to bring their employees back into the workforce, a common concern we were hearing from our clients, and many of these are CEOs and senior level executives, is what if I make the wrong decision about bringing employees back? What if they quit?
Yeah.
What do I need to say or do to ensure that my employees don't quit? And women were leading that Great Resignation. So I did what I did as a journalist, and I said, well, let's start with research. Let's find out what the data here in the state of Wisconsin says about how workers are feeling, especially how women are feeling about the impact of the pandemic on work. And no one had done that research. No one had taken a look at the impact of the pandemic on working women in the state of Wisconsin. So as a business that believes it's important to go where no one else has gone before, our vision is that businesses take responsibility for their place in the world. Our little firm decided we would commission this research, the first detailed study of its kind in the state of Wisconsin about the impact of the pandemic on working women, and see what the numbers told us.
That's amazing. And some of the research you found that women just did not feel they were valued on the workforce.
Exactly. That's a primary reason working women are considering quitting their jobs. So 50%, as you mentioned, of working women in the state of Wisconsin are considering quitting their jobs. That's 25% higher than the national average. That's a significant number. 29% of working women say they feel undervalued in their role. So what exactly does that mean? As you really dig into those numbers, the data also told us very clearly what feeling undervalued meant. So women who are working in the state of Wisconsin are 36% more stressed than women working in other states. 81% of working women in the state of Wisconsin do not work for employers who offer childcare support. And on and on and on. The numbers really showed us kind of where the gaps are in the employment experience. And when I say where the gaps are, it also says to me, Carole, these are the opportunities. If employers want to retain women, if employers want to become employers of choice, we can't just throw money at different programs. We need to take a look at what the statistics tell us and then begin to intentionally kind of address those statistics and fill those gaps.
Yes, and if you do want to be a successful employer and have employees, and now that's a bonus, because so many places can't even find workers because they're not willing to do the jobs. So it's a very important research, though, Kimberly, and I think I applaud you for digging into that. I mean, that's the reporter in you, I suppose.
That is it's the reporter, and it's kind of the solutions oriented entrepreneur. So where there's a problem, let's quantify the problem, but then let's also kind of qualify the opportunity. And we embarked on this research to help our clients, but we realized as we started looking at the numbers that we needed to make this data available to all employers across the state of Wisconsin. So that's why we developed the Kane Insights report, which people can download from our website at kanecomgroup.com. I'll tell you, the research is worth tens of thousands of dollars. So if an employer were to go ahead and conduct this research themselves, they'd have to spend a lot of money to put together a report like this. But we're making it available for free to all employers across the state because we think the data is so important. But we also brought together more than 24 working women from across the region to help us develop solutions for employers. So they're not just being given the statistics about what the problems are or about what's important to women, but we've got so many smart women who have come into work groups with us to put together strategies and ideas that employers can take and put to work for themselves right away.
You're doing good, very important work for our community and really for our nation. This is information that we all need to hear. And actually, we can make changes and make them positive for the future. Now, Kimberly, I have to ask you, you're in TV for many years and you were here for 15 years, I believe it was.
It was, yeah, but it
went
felt like a blink in time.
Now, okay, do you miss TV? Do you miss news?
You know what, I do. Yeah, I really do. One of the things that I really loved about being a journalist, and you and I have talked about that, is just the concept of the fourth estate, that ability to get out and ask tough questions. So people at every level of business and government. You heard me use the word accountability just a little while ago, and I believe accountability is vital for all of us. The way I'm raising my children, right? They have to be accountable. The way we run our businesses, we have to be accountable. Government has to be accountable. And I think journalists have a very important license to do the research and to get out and ask the tough questions and provide real, objective, well-rounded information to viewers and readers so that they can make informed decisions. And so I do miss that. And I miss being on the front line sometimes of breaking news, being able to break stories or ask the tough questions.
Well, we miss you, and we know that, journalism is the fourth estate, and basically it is imperative to our democracy. So
Right.
if we are going to flourish or continue, we need the fourth estate desperately. And Kimberly, I could talk to you all day. I have to ask you,
Yeah.
now you're still doing those freighter commercials? Freighter?
Exactly. Yeah. So as soon as
See.
I left TV, yes, when I was working with you, I was doing the For Your Health franchise. So I was honored when Freighter Hospital approached me after I left full-time TV news and asked if I would continue doing interviews with their physicians. So I get to do those every week.
I always like to see you on them because I just think, oh, there's Kimberly being her, well, at that time, medical reporter self, and still enlightening the world. Well, it is just such a delight to catch up with you. For those of you who don't know Kimberly, she can do it all. She's one of those super women who doesn't admit it. But all I know is I was always amazed at how much you could do. And just you did it with such ease. And so it's a pleasure to talk to you again and to reconnect with you. Keep up the good work, Kimberly.
Carole, it's an honor to be asked to be part of Lunch with Carole. I'm so glad we had the chance to catch up, and I look forward to seeing you again, I hope soon.
Well, you're making Milwaukee and our community and our state better. Kimberly Kane, CEO of Kane Communications Group. Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 12:30 for Lunch with Carole. Thanks, Kimberly.
Thanks, Carole. Take care. Bye, everybody.